In this video, we'll go over the Edgebander's weekly maintenance. To access the Bander's maintenance cycles, press the maintenance button on the top left screen, then go to Diagnostics. This screen shows off all of the cycles that are due for maintenance. Click Confirm on any of them to get to the cycles and their percentages. The machine tracks each cycle by how much the machine is used. Once the percentage reaches 100, it's ready for maintenance. As you can see, quite a few of these are way past that. Until you've memorized all of the needed cycles, it's very helpful to use this as a guide on what needs to be done. I won't be going over every cycle because that would take a lot longer than most people's attention spans can handle. I'll be going over the main ones, and the smaller ones are pretty straightforward and easy to do. Almost every cycle has a link to an explanation on how to perform the maintenance, which is quite helpful. Press the documentation button on the left to access that, then click Indicate. Once you've completed a cycle, go back to the maintenance menu. Check the box on the left side on the ones that you've completed. Click Confirm on the right side. Then put your name confirming who performed that cycle or cycles. That will reset the percentage back to 0. I like to start off by spraying off the whole machine so that I can work on a dust-free machine. Along the way, I'm checking on each station for any loose nuts, bolts, cables, anything that's been detached like airlines, dust hoses, or cables. I'm also feeling each blade, making sure that they spin freely and aren't hard to spin. If they are, either the motor has gone out or the bearings are worn out. To get to the pressure rollers, loosen these two bolts on the front and lift the cage off. Over time, the glue can get collected on the rollers. Put a rag underneath the roller to catch anything that you scrape off. Never use anything metal to scrape stuff off anywhere on the machine. It can scratch and remove any potential coatings applied to the parts. A piece of sharpened wood with lacquer thinner works great in this case. Just behind the infeed, there's a zerk that needs to be lubricated. These lubricate the conveyor beam. Always wipe off any collected dust before you pump it with grease. You don't want to get dust in the grease tubes. Only use grease guns that have the grease purchased from Stiles on each of the Homog machines. Apply the amount of pumps recommended by the documentation. On the other end of the machine, there's another zerk to lubricate. While we're here, we'll bleed the air lines of any moisture by twisting this bleed valve below the air pressure indicator. On the front of the machine, you'll want to clean out the rollers underneath this panel. Dust and banding can get caught in these rollers and potentially damage them or the belt. Before you take anything apart on this machine, make sure the conveyor and the control power is off. Take off these 3 bolts on the side and 1 more on the other side to access the rollers. They're not too bad right now, but it's better to keep up on it than let things break before you can do anything about it. There are rollers on the other end of the machine too. These catch quite a bit of banding in the rollers because they're right next to the glue scrapers. You might need to clean these rollers twice a week if you're banding 100 or more cabinets a day. Be careful not to drop your bolts. They like to disappear into the void. I like to use this tool that has a hook on the end to pull on all the banding. Then you can turn the conveyor on and blow out the rest. To put the panel on, slide this groove onto the panel. This one sits on top of the grooves, on the bottom of the panel. Now we're going to clean out the electrical boxes towards the back of the machine. Make sure you use a vacuum instead of a sprayer because you don't want to blow any dust into the small electrical mechanisms. Also make sure to keep the top door open if you open any other electrical doors on the machine. I didn't do this when I was vacuuming the bottom part and I tripped the machine and it abruptly shut everything off. Learn from my mistakes. Another pro tip, use a bigger vacuum with a larger hose. This bottom part collects a lot of banding scrapings and will clog small hoses. Moving to the front of the machine, we're going to take this panel off to get to the conveyor chain. Spray the chain off so that we can apply 1 can's worth of greaseless lubricant to the chain. You want to apply the lubricant to both sides of the chain where they attach to the next chain. Dust collects, preventing the chains to rotate how they need to. This needs to be done at least once every couple of months depending on the amount of production. Once a month if there's a lot of production.